Good morning, everyone. We will start in 5 minutes. We are waiting for the others to come in. Thank you very much for waiting. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to part 3 of our level 3 training on webinar on digital transformations for museums. So we are pleased to have with us Ms. Evert Miranda. She's the VP for the NMI Solutions of GMA 7, and also Ramil Escarda. Okay, welcome, and thank you again for joining us this morning. I would like to just briefly announce that all the recordings for part 3 are now available at our museum website. For those who message us that were not able to view the webinars, the two-part series, no, of Everett's talk, you can actually access the talk from there. Okay, Everett, good morning.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. So I'm back again for the third session. 2 weeks ago, I requested everyone to submit their assignment, and fortunately, I received about more than 20 responses from you guys. And I really enjoy reading all the details that they have provided me. So it's here. And let me cover each of this, or what I did as suggested by Doc Eakin here, is to cluster them together, and I will discuss every concern. Okay, but allow me to share my screen first, because what I'm going to do is answer the first question, or hold on, there you go. Can you see my screen again?
Yes, Evert, yes.
Okay, let me do it again. Okay, so the first cluster is a question or a help that they need from me is to create an interactive virtual tour for the site using Matterport. So the reason my colleague here, Mr. Ramil Escarda, has joined me today is because he's gonna give us a walkthrough of of how to use Matterport to create your interactive virtual tour. So allow me to introduce him first. He's our head for techno creatives and multimedia team, a multi-talented illustrator, designer, animator, and imagination interpreter. He's just a simple guy, but he got a lot of ideas. Ramil has been a fan of the arts since day one. He's now leading a group of 34 composed of graphic designers, UX designer, 3D animator, and video producers. He's quite hands-on in reviewing all UX, UI designs, aside from giving the general direction for the creatives. He believes in continuous improvement and looks for effective and efficient tools in execution. And let me give the virtual floor to him, our creative champion in the team, Mr. Ramil Escarda. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for the introduction, Everett. Let me share my screen. All right. So, hello. Good morning, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Ramil, and I work as a techno creative for GMA New Media Inc. Our group for the past 3 to 4 years have actually been involved in creating and producing immersive digital experiences for museums such as the augmented reality, projection mapping, motion capture technology, and virtual reality executions. But now, let's go to the important matter at hand. And today, I'll be talking about how you can start creating your own 3D virtual reality tour in minutes using the now famous platform called Matterport. Since we're on, sadly, ECQ again, we're all at home, and at least my objective today, at the end of this talk, Sana, is you would be able to create a small, simple 3D interactive virtual tour of your own, whether at a small space lang, gallery, your living room, your garden, or kahit sa kitchen lang natin. But before we go to the steps of creating our 3D space, first, I want to share with you the trend right now, which is yung virtual tours. Before the pandemic, virtual tours were present na eh. But they are not that famous or sikat compared today. One reason, because when you mention the word virtual, it's usually associated with the expensive VR goggles. I don't know if you're familiar, like the Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive. But pre-pandemic, virtual tours are just novelties. They're not that important. They're just nice add-ons. But today, with our current situation, with the limited foot traffic on establishments or museums, I guess siguro after the pandemic also, virtual tours or digital representations of a space or a building or an area are here to stay. And this is where actually Matterport comes in. So what is Matterport? Well, what is it? Matterport as a company launched last 2011 pa, but it's primarily used for the real estate industry. So potential buyers, before they can experience an immersive tour of a property before they buy it. Matterport as a provider offers an all-in-one solution in creating 3D virtual tours. I think they are the first ones to offer a package solution in the market. Package solution meaning the hardware and the software of the 3D virtual tour. But behind that solution, the technology that they're actually using is called the 3D space scanning technology that makes use of captured devices or cameras to scan an area or a space and transform it into a 3D digital online representation of a real life space. So that is Matterport. So before we start a simple virtual tour, we need to have the most important hardware or equipment to 3D capture an area or a space. And fortunately, Matterport is compatible with a wide range of 360 cameras and capture devices. I'll go over them one by one. But first, this is the Matterport Pro Camera. This is actually on the higher end of capture devices or 360 cameras. It's from Matterport. It's their proprietary camera, and they say that it's best for large scale spaces, large buildings, and prolonged use or scanning. But unfortunately not best for the budget wise. It costs actually 2,000 US dollars. But fortunately, they also are compatible with third-party 360 cameras. These are good. We're actually using for our 3D tours an Insta360 1R, the camera with the replaceable lens. We're using this, but it's actually quite good now for small to medium spaces or buildings. But if we don't have access to either of these devices, the Matterport Pro or the 360 camera, Matterport actually produced or created a mobile app last 2019, and it's called the Matterport Capture. And and I'd like to focus my talk here actually because it's already available in iOS and Android, and I would like to encourage everyone to search for it, the Matterport Capture, and try it out. Fiddle with it, play around with it. It's actually very capable. It's actually parang yung 360 cameras and Matterport Pro cameras, and then it can capture 3D spaces already. And this is where actually we will go through with the walkthrough or the talk. So when you downloaded it, when you fire it up, actually the first screen that you will see is this one. You need to create an account. It's free lang naman, but this is the first thing that you need to do to be able to scan our first 3D capture. So when you've already created your account, this is the home screen. If you notice on the left screen, I've already tested some captures. And yesterday, actually created a small, simple test for this talk. And later on, you will see the actual process of walkthrough of scanning a 3D space. Apologies lang, I took it only in our garden and medyo madumi siya. But on the right screen, to start capturing, you need to actually tap on the plus on the bottom right of the home screen, and it will lead you to the scan screen of the app. And the next slide. Of course, before you scan pala, there are options to consider. It is the button in the lower left. When you tap on it, it will tell you to do a 3D scan or a 360 capture. What's the difference between the two? A 3D scan or what they call a reality capture. This is the one where users can walk through your 3D space. They have free movement, they have motion in the 3D space that you capture, while the 360, the user is only in one position. You can just rotate the view vertically and horizontally. And then we also have the simple scan and the complete scan. The difference between the two is, if you notice in the photo, the simple scan actually has a limited field of view vertically. And compared to complete scan, you can actually see the roof and the floor of your 3D scan. But Matterport, with today's mobile devices and camera lenses, For example, I use an iPhone 11. I can already do a simple scan, but it captures also the roof and the flooring of my 3D scan. So later on, I'll show you. Actually, it's on my next slide. This is my sample walkthrough. Okay. Now that you have your 3D scan, the next thing that you need to do is to actually upload it to the Matterport servers. It takes some time to upload it, and when you log into their platform on their website, to actually show that Matterport is still processing your scan 3D space. It depends on how large or how complex your 3D scans are. For this test, I think Matterport was able to process it in around 20 to 30 minutes. And when it's actually done processing, Matterport will notify you via email that your space is ready to view already. So when your space is ready to view and play around with, the next thing that we need to do is actually go to the dashboard. And I recorded a video. I'm scared of the internet problems might occur when I do it live. So here is a video of me editing the space and adding labels and matter tags. This is the dashboard of the Matterport. So when you go to the spaces, you will see the test that we did, and it's right there already. Sorry, I need to pause, but later on I will show, though Matterport offers a free account, but it's limited to one space, and unfortunately you can share it publicly. You need to upgrade to the next tier of account, which is the regular. So you'll be able to share it publicly and have 4 more active spaces. So here we are on the space page of the Matterport. Let's just check our captured. Medyo madumi, need some maintenance on the garden area. I will report it to the PMO. So everything looks good. All right, if you notice at the top, there are tabs there that are details, add-ons, and download. Details, you can add information on your space. The add-ons and the downloads where Matterport already created pre-made video intros. This is actually ideal for sharing into your social media page, where you can say, here, I have a cool interactive tour of my space, and then you just add the link. They also made it in a GIF form to be shared in your website. So next, we're actually going to edit this space. The first thing that we need to do, if you notice on the right side, the first icon is the start location. This is actually what the users will be at when they first play your 3D tour, or when they visit your 3D tour. And I change it in the middle scan. So it there. The next icon is actually the scans that you did using the Matterport Capture app. This is where you can actually delete or actually hide some scans. When you're scanning in the Matterport Capture app, you can have as many scans as you like, but note lang na it might bog down or slow down the processing time if you have too many scans in your Matterport Capture app. But when you uploaded it and it was processed successfully, this is where you can actually delete or hide the scans for a faster experience. The next is the 360. We can actually add a 360 view, but I think we will skip this since we already did a much better version of the 360, which is the 3D scan. So we'll just skip it. The next icon in here is the photo option. This is where you can actually take snaps of the key areas in your space or points of interest, and it will be saved in your gallery in the Matterport Dashboard. So you can share individual images in your social media or in your website. The next icon would be the labels. This is useful for the floor plan view. Later on, I will show you the 3 different views that the user can experience on your 3D tour. But for the floor plan view, this is where the labels actually are useful. So I just labeled the middle scan center and the left one top and bottom. If you notice, the scan is not that clean. It is a pretty quick scan that I did yesterday, and you can still improve this by adding scans in the corners or in the other areas. And next is the measurement mode. As mentioned earlier, Matterport has been a primarily 3D virtual tour for the real estate industry. So they have this feature to measure the walls or the door of a property, but with museums, we could actually use this to measure the frame or the size of the sculpture. It's quite accurate. This is actually, I measured it with the measuring tape. This bench is actually 5 feet and 4 inches. Okay. Just pause this. The next icon would be the matter tags. What are matter tags? These are actually clickable or tappable overlays that you can put on your 3D space. This is the one that is, I'm putting a matter tag on this fountain ball. And yeah, so we could put a title, the name of your matter tag, and you can add the link. You can also adjust the stem of the matter tag. You can add a photo, a location, and even a video. For this fountain ball, I'm gonna put a video of his brother, the big fountain.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the real United States, and welcome to Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, when it's done, test it out.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the real.
Okay, let's add one more matter tag. This garden plant, I think, needs some information. And for this one, I think I will put a photo of his brother. And I just search on the web a photo of this garden plant. Yeah, so this looks like his brother. Yeah, and let's try it out. There. Okay, after we're done putting our matter tags in, the last icon in the edit menu would be the highlight reel. The highlight reel is like a slideshow of key areas. It's like the pre-made video that Matterport did for you, but this one you can add views or key areas or points of interest in your highlight reel. So let's add this. Let's add a photo of our neighbor. Last, the hallway view. And so when you play it, it will actually give you a highlight reel of the area. Okay, so when you're done editing your space, on the upper right, don't forget to save or publish so that your changes will be reflected. And then go back to the space, refresh the page. Then let's see if your changes have been reflected. So our starting location is correct. And let's take a look at our matter tags. The fountain ball, the garden plant working, and the fountain ball with no water.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the real United States, and welcome to Richmond, Virginia. We're here in front of the Science Museum.
Next, I will show you the different views. If you notice on the lower left corner, there is the dollhouse view, the floor plan view, and the measurement view. First is the dollhouse view. And then this is the floor plan view. And the measurement mode, you can see the measurements of the bench. And the default view, which is the Explorer view. All right, so that's it. You've created your first Matterport 3D scan. And I will be sharing a few basic tips based on our experience and best practices. The first thing I think what's important if you're using a 360 camera is to invest in a tripod or a monopod. Actually, reco a monopod instead of a tripod because of the wide range of capture our 360 cameras have. A monopod has actually less chance of capturing the tripod's legs. So invest in a tripod or a monopod. If you're using the mobile app, these tips actually came from Matterport. What you need to do is to think like a tripod. Actually, don't breathe. I'm just kidding. But you need to position your elbows in such a way that it is stable, and when you do the rotation of scanning, your scans will be much more accurate. And the next tip that I can give is the lighting. Well, nothing beats natural light, but if we have less light coming into our space, or if we don't have any windows, the solution would be to add a 360 light for your 360 cameras. This one actually is from Bushman Halo 360 light, but there are other manufacturers who do this already. And you position it under or above the 360, because putting lights, if it's not a 360 light, putting it strategically in spaces would be a challenge, because your 360 camera or your Matterport Pro Camera or even your Matterport Capture app will be able to capture the fixture of your lighting. So a 360 light would be actually the best way to go. Next, of course, stay out of the capture device's range when scanning. What we do when we scan a 3D space is we hide behind the wall and we remotely control the shutter button or the capture button of our 360 camera through the Matterport Capture app. Last tip would be the scan locations. As mentioned before, you can capture as many 3D scan as you like, but it will slow down the processing time. But what we usually do is to capture from the corners of a room first. If you have a square or a rectangular room, I advise to capture first the corners, and then you move on at the center and then to the hallway. And usually I maintain a 3-foot distance between scans. Then if it's too much scan, that's where I edit it at the Matterport Dashboard. And that's it for the tips. And this is the Matterport pricing. You can create an account for free, but you only get one active space and one user. If you move on to the next tier, which is the starter, you can actually have 5 spaces. You can share it publicly, but only have one user. If you have multiple users editing the space, what I recommend is the professional subscription, which allows 5 users at the same time. So maybe if you have a large space or a large area that you've scanned and a lot of matter tags to put on, having a professional subscription is actually good, because we can have a person assigned to the matter tags, assigned to the scan, assigned labeling the floor plans. So yun. With the popularity of Matterport, di may iwasan na other companies or software providers provide a solution for the 3D virtual tours. And there are actually some startups that offer a similar solution like Matterport, but let's go over it. First one is Cupix. It's very similar to Matterport, but compared to Matterport, Matterport still has that sexy user experience, user interface. This one, the Cupix has this large icons and buttons, and Cupix also don't have the dollhouse view. They only have the floor plan view here, but they have the buttons and like the matter tags. Yeah. Cupix is not free also. They have subscription plans. Okay. Next alternative would be similar to Cupix would be 3D Home by Zillow. This one has a mobile app also, but similar with Cupix, and or when compared to Matterport, Matterport still has that minimalist user interface and the smoothness of transitions. Matterport, I think, has perfected it compared with other solutions. But if we don't have access to a space, or maybe we really need a 3D online representation of our real space, but we can't capture it or we can scan it, our option would be, I guess, this is consummatrix. I don't know if you're familiar, but with consummatrix, you'll be able to create a 3D gallery from scratch without capturing an area. You just need to convert your artworks or your sculptures into digital form. You choose a template from consummatrix, and then your users will be able to experience it online, whether in desktop or in mobile. So this is a sample of the experience of consummatrix. So this room is purely in 3D. This is from a template from consummatrix. When you click on an artwork, it can overlay information. You can actually send a message to the owner or the exhibit or the gallery. It's pretty neat, actually. All right. So those are the alternatives, and I think that's it. I hope I am of help when creating your first 3D space. I hope you'll be able to create them. Again, try the mobile app, download it, play around with it. Matterport has a very good user experience when it comes to first-time users. They also have what you call the Matterport Academy online, where they have several videos and walkthroughs of how you go about creating your 3D virtual tour. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ramil. That's very interesting. No? Do we have questions from our participants, or we shall proceed, Evert?
Hello. Okay. Thank you, Ramil. That was great. The Kunstmatrix, no, something that we've
Yes.
working on,
Yep.
because we know that you guys cannot capture it, the actual venue. So what we did is we look for something that we can create the rendered spaces. So that's a cool tool that you can use, but we're still actually doing proper audit of the technology, right, Ramil? So we
Yes.
can also build our learnings around that. And yeah, so if you will ask Ramil, it can be published on the website, the actual capture of Matterport. And
Yep.
Kunstmatrix is also web-based, right, Ramil?
Yes.
Okay, but can they publish it in Facebook?
You can share a link when you have your 3D space. Matterport actually has a share button that you can actually share directly from your Facebook page, and then I think it will just include a link. When the user clicks on it, it will redirect them to an actual experience of the 3D tour.
Okay, thank you, Ramil. I have a question. So you mentioned about the camera for the Matterport and also the software for this. So what is your advice for startup museums who wanted to use this technology? Would you recommend them to buy the camera for long-term use, especially for those changing exhibitions, for instance, like in Museo Cordillera? Or can we just use the one that you mentioned on software subscription?
My reco would be, I think, Doc, is to go with the middle tier of the hardware or devices, which is the 360 cameras. And actually, you could start with thinking around with the mobile app, just to get the feel of capturing the 3D space. But long term, for convenience, I think a 360 camera installed with a monopod or a tripod would be the best option.
Okay. So that's least, in terms of the expenses now
Yes.
for setting up, that's much cheaper. All right.
Yes.
So we have questions from the, I think it is answered already. Okay. Nasagot na. Okay. So these are about subscription, no? From Randy and another anonymous attendee. I think Evert already answered that.
I'm
So-
sorry, Doc Iken. So Sir Randy has a different question. Maybe I'll just give it to Ramil. Sorry, Doc Iken. Ramil, what's the format of the output, GIF or video?
If you're talking about the highlight reel or the, you can download this as an MP4 or a video. But if you're talking about the interactive space, it's actually from users can experience it on a browser, whether on a laptop or a desktop or a mobile. So you need to go to the link and experience it on your device. But for the highlight reel, you can download as a video to be shared in your social media pages.
Okay. What about the content? How much content should be in the Matterport platform? Especially now that we are in a pandemic, are we supposed to put everything there, or can we save a little information kept?
Yeah, I think user experience wise, we should only put the bite-sized information that the users can experience. Because if we put everything in a, for example, in a matter tag, maybe it can become quite boring for some users. But my suggestion would be, let's say we have a long write-up for an artwork, we just put a link on the matter tag instead of putting the long text in there. So when the user clicks on a matter tag, there's actually a link again that will lead them to the full write-up of the artwork or a sculpture.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, are there any questions from our participants? Question. Ramil, have you seen our Museo Cordillera website?
Yes, it's very nice actually, Doc.
Okay, so we have a very lengthy text there. What you see in the exhibition is the same with the one in the Matterport.
Yes, it's actually a nice capture as mentioned to Evert. It's very good. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, there's a question from anonymous attendee. Since we can use our own smartphone, should we still invest on a 360-degree camera?
Yeah. This is similar to your question, Doc Aiken, for long-term use. You can try around you can start with the smartphone, with the mobile, with the Matterport Capture mobile app, but having a 360 camera for multiple scans, I think is much easier, because you can just put it on a tripod, leave it, it will scan on its own. While compared to the Matterport Capture app, as mentioned in my video, you need to think like a tripod. If you have strong arms or hands or a steady grip, I think trying out the Matterport Capture app is okay for you.
Mhm. Would you also relate that kasi people are thinking now of buying or
Yeah.
subscribing, would you also consider the space of the museum, like how big or how small the museum should be, can be also a factor in purchasing this kind of app or equipment?
Yes, definitely. If you have, as mentioned in my presentation, the multitude of cameras that Matterport supports is actually based on the scale. If you really have a large space area or a building, though you can still use the 360 camera, but the Matterport Pro camera would do best with large scale buildings. And also you need to have a battery backup for the 360 cameras, since it only has a small battery. But with Matterport Pro cameras, I think it's built for prolonged use of scanning.
Mm. Okay, so Ramil, this is a related question from
Mhm.
Randy. How much detail should one put out in the website or platform? How little revision or changes is recommended for a more engaging content?
Yeah, I guess again, our objective with or Matterport's objective is to engage the public with a digital representation of the museum. But as similar to Doc Aiken's question, I wouldn't suggest putting all the content in your 3D tour. I suggest to just put bite-sized information. Yes, you can put all the artworks, you can put matter tags in each artwork, but when the user clicks on it, my recommendation is to lead them to a different page where the actual detail of the artwork is.
Okay, so thank you, Ramil. So there's another question here from Maria Cecilia Medina. So I was talking about spaces, know how large
Mm.
they are. So her question, since we don't have space to display all our items, could we display one portion of our collection, example artworks, virtually?
If you actually don't have a space, my recommendation would be to try something out like the consummatrix. In this way, you can have your own 3D room or exhibit from scratch. And I think that's the best way to go. Matterport is built for, yes, you can do small spaces with Matterport, but what's best with Matterport kasi is when the user can move around the area, the 3D space. And if you have such a small space or just a wall, my recommendation would be, I guess, to put it up in consummatrix instead.
Yeah. Can I also answer that question? The one that we did for Mosaic Cordillera, so we have a current exhibition. So those things that are not on exhibit are actually put on the website under catalog collections. So you can actually do photography of your objects or artworks. Then you can use that platform as a catalog to browse, not necessarily displaying everything, but you use the website to feature your collections not on display or in storage. Or you can just select a few. I think, no? Pwede naman. Okay, thank you. There's a question from NPF na yung Pilipino siguro ito. Okay, from Princess May Hernandez. So her question, with this pandemic, most museum relies on virtual tour and posting in their pages. When we use 3D virtual tour applications, we expose each part of the museum from floor plan to storage. Isn't this a threat to museum security because of possible museum burglars or thieves can memorize the museum floor plan and can have an idea where the valuables of museum are hidden or displayed?
Yeah, actually, Princess is quite correct. My reco would be, I guess, is to omit the floor plan view. If you really want to use Matterport or 3D virtual tour, I guess my recommendation is to limit the details. One is to not put the floor plan of the museum, just the interactive space. And yeah, I guess that's my my reco. Or I guess instead put it up on consummatrix, a virtual representation of an exhibit or a gallery.
Yes, Ramil, I totally agree on that. In fact, the one for Museo Cordillera, we did not include the visible storage for our artifacts, and important artifacts are not included because that's it's the heart of the collection. So we just chose which ones to show and which ones not to be virtually included in the 3D tour. Okay, I think you can also do that. All right. Okay, there's a question from an anonymous attendee. Is consummatrix the same with exhibit.com? After the subscription, can we save the file? In exhibit.com, nawawala after subscription.
Yeah, I haven't really tried exhibit.com, but it looks similar to consummatrix. But my reco, if the issue na nawawala yung interactive space natin because of the subscription, my reco is to capture it in video form. Para after your subscription ends or you end or you cancel your subscription, you have parang a guided tour of your interactive space in video form.
Okay, so another related question on technology from another anonymous attendee. May we know the specifications of the cell phone or 360 camera that we can use in the 3D application?
Yeah, I apologize, forgot to mention this, but with Matterport Capture for iPhone users, I think it supports iPhone 6s above, and for Android naman, I think a minimum of 3 GB memory is required. When it comes to 360 cameras naman, Matterport has a page on which 360 cameras they actually support. And to name a few, what we're using right now is the Insta360 1R from Insta360. They also support the Insta360 1X from the same brand. And then from Ricoh, they also support the Theta Z. And I forgot the name of the other one, but it's also from Ricoh, the same brand.
Okay, thank you, Ramil. There's a question from Kelly Ramos. May I know how big is an ideal team for making a 3D museum tour for a website? Is there a separate staff to do the photography, writing, website management, etc.? Yes,
it actually depends on the how big or large the 3D tour is. And yes, you need to have a separate manpower for the capturing or photography or scanning of the space. The website management, yes, and also the writing. You need to have one power at least each for that.
Okay. Can I also answer, Kelly? For the photography, we have a dedicated person who's doing that. And then for the content, it's similar with curation. So you select the information and of course you make meaningful interpretations of your objects and your collection. So there's also curation online, which is also another level of, creating an exhibit online, no? And then in terms of the management, the website developer for Mosaic Cordillera already trained the staff to manage the site, no? So if there are changes, additions, updates, they are trained to do that already. But in terms of the content, it has to pass through a curatorial team. Okay. So thank you so much, Ramil. Naubos na yung questions natin. All right. So, Evert, how do we proceed?
Okay, so Doc, you can let me share my screen. Thank you, Ramil. I'll see you around. Okay, I'll go back to my. So for the first one, we're able to address the questions of Negros Museum, who sent the similar question. COE, Teacher Heritage Center, and UP Center for Ethnomusicology. Now, there are more questions sent to me. Where do you need help in terms of the digital transformation? One question that was raised to me was, how do we start? So this was raised by Parish and Pasig Museum. So how do we start? Actually, you already started. When you guys submitted your assignment to me, I read your digital goals. So that's the start. But I'm gonna give you a framework, and it's gonna be a bit detailed. So bear with me in the first few in the next few minutes. So okay, I'm gonna show you a project methodology which you can use for the digitalization of the museums. First, you have to define your digital online objectives, which I already read. Some of you even have a comprehensive file that was sent to me. So you have to think about your objective. And then we decide which platform will you pursue. I'm talking about, is it website or social media? And in social media, should I go for YouTube? Uh, because I have videos, right? And of course, the budget. For the longest time, this has been something that will actually influence our decision. No? How much budget do I have? How much budget do I have for manpower? Earlier, you asked how many people do I need to create a virtual tour. Ako siguro, Doc Ikin, Ramil, I'll make tipid pa, no? Baka dalawa pwede, no? You have a photographer, and of course, who can do multimedia, the editing. And then on the writing side, you have a curator who can write and who can also upload it to the website. No, we just make sure the content management system in the back is so easy to use by any person. So tumipid pa ako sa dalawang tao. Ramil knows I'm matipid eh. Anyway, and also the content. No, what kind of content do I have? Heritage, artworks, um, I also have like milestone, my timeline, etc. And so it's all, it should be written in your digital online objectives. All right. So now what's the next step? This is now a bit detailed. No, I'm gonna share all the files with you. But first, I want to talk about a decision because one of the museums have their own mobile app, but it should have gone through this question. Kasi, should I build a mobile app or should I build just a site? And that site is mobile responsive. It's website. Can I just switch to my screen? I'll show you how to check if a site is mobile responsive. Uh, Doc Iken, would you mind if I use your site? Okay. So here,
Okay.
thank you for that. Doc, this is your desktop view. Now, if I want to to check, I don't want to use my phone to check it. Everybody can do this. Now, you go to this tool, the three dot here, more tools, and then developer. Okay. Now you can inspect your site on different screens. Can you see it? Let's say Gallery S5. Now I want to check it on iPad, iPhone X, Okay, that's how you check if your site is mobile responsive. Okay. Is it okay if I also check UP Center for ethnomusicology? Is there any representative here? Representative here? Okay lang ba?
No one is there.
Okay. Okay, let's check. So I go to more tools. Okay. Why is this important? The basic site now should be mobile responsive. Okay, it's mobile responsive. So let's check it with a little S5. Yeah, ganyan siya. Okay, this is the navigation becomes the burger menu. Okay, so let me go back. So a decision, you have to think about it. Do I need to develop a mobile app or a website which is responsive? So the mobile app, some companies decide to come up with a mobile app because it can work offline, can make use of the phone features. Yun yung dalawa kong nakikita. Usually, meron kang offline mode. And yung phone features, usually mas maganda yung location service, the camera, to invoke the camera to capture. Yan. Pag mobile interactive user interface and you're not cluttered, you go straight to what the person needs, no? Nandun na siya sa harap ng app. Then sa mobile site naman, it is accessed by any browser. We just make sure it was tested on different browser. Chrome, Safari, yon. And the navigation user interface, medyo static, no? Requires connection and somehow limited naman yung mga features like it can have location. It can open a camera now, pero medyo in terms of um, usability, hindi siya as smooth as mobile app. Now, that's the comparison on functionality. But more than that, we have to consider the performance. Sino mas mabilis? A site or a mobile app? A mobile app is very fast. By the way, I'd like to acknowledge this image came from MDG Advertising. Development cost is quite expensive for mobile app than a site because you're developing for iOS and Android. Even if there is a cross-platform development, mahal pa rin siya in the long run. Okay, and mahal siya to manage kasi you really have to publish. Let's say you're gonna change a feature, you have to republish it to Apple Store and the Play Store. Yun. So you also have the license to publish, no? Approval process, yes, it goes through the store's approval. So you have to weigh. And important dito, what will make the the content in the app different from the content in the website? So something that you still have to think about, discuss it. So um, after going through the online objectives, you can now define, ito lang pala kailangan ko. Maybe I'll start here. Maybe I'll just start with social media. Or okay, let's go for a website. Then we proceed with the next step. Okay, so let me put it in a slide mode. Okay. Okay, let me also raise this. In terms of user reach and engagement, the impressions is higher on a mobile browser by 65% versus 35. Impressions is a number of people who saw or who visits, no, who saw your page. Then there's a visit who actually visit the page on a certain duration, and then you have unique visitors. In terms of user reach and engagement, browser remains to be higher. Okay. Um, yeah, I just want to highlight that. Okay. No, so what's the next step? Now that you have defined your digital online objective, this is what we do. I'm sharing with you a project specifications form. What, in short, what is it? It is your user story. Like, it contains the department, your department, the project name, the project owner, because the proponent might be different from the project owner. Okay, who will actually pursue the project, no, any technical development. You have to put there the launch date, which initially might change, initially you have but might change later on. You have to put there the status because this is a living document, you have to update this. if there's a need to update. The project format here, for example, I put website and content management system. The compatibility, this is important to manage the expectation. Baka naman you want in all browsers, but at the end, hindi na pala na-achieve lahat ng browsers, no? Again, mobile responsive, it's given, it must. Everybody, 90% of browsing is still on mobile app, so it has to be responsive. Now, the project specifications below, this is your user stories, but I'm using the third person point of view. Homepage, for example, users can search specific keywords in the website. Next, users can see the carousel of banners. Ganun siya detail. You're telling a story, what will be the experience of the person. User can log in. User can change password. User can, okay, I as the user can change the password by clicking reset, ganon, or I can check my profile, no, pag mga email, pag mga shopping I can check my transactions, ganun. So everything you put here, tapos by section siya, the way you see it, no. These are user stories, but again, I use lang the third party, no, users, pero pwedeng I, no, as kung ako yung makakakita ng site or no mobile app, what do I expect? Okay. Then you go down pa, all the sections, no, even the content management. What are you expecting to be able to change in? Remember in our lesson in level 2, I mentioned there's a front end, there's a back end. So how about the back end? If I'm gonna manage it, what are the items that I can manage for the front, no? Because when I visit the site, I don't expect to see that as a user, especially mga digital savvy now. I don't expect to see the same thing, no, for the next 6 months, no. It has to change. So, dapat may flexibility yung pang-manage ng content sa likod. So, may mga modules dito. I can change the article. I can change the event. So, you define it in your project specifications. Don't worry, I'm going to send a copy of the template through our secretariat. Okay. And you can also say here, I want to be able to track the visits. So, integration yan eh. But you don't have to put the integration word. We're a bit technical, but we're integrating with Google Analytics code. And then you can also put here, I want to share the photo, the story on. So you write it. Okay. And then we go to who will be the users, who will be the admin, what is your overall peg for UI, for the UX. You can put here links of parang, especially someone asking me yung mga global museum. So I'm gonna send it to you guys, to all of you, that we can use as peg. Lagay nyo dyan, you just put it there. At least that's the plan, no. But later on, it might be parang cut into phases depending on the budget, depending on the approval, right? And then you have to specify here the domain name. Can I share something here? Before, when we're coming up with a brand, the first thing that we do is check first if the domain name is available. Sometimes our brand now, or most of the time, our brands now are influenced by the availability of the domain. Example, I want to buy, let's say, I want Shopee, di ba? Shopee, sana Shopee, no? Pagtingin mo, taken na. Napagkuhin mo na yung brand mo. So, now, domain name dictates the branding. So, yun yung mga chine-check namin. Now, the question next is, saan ba ito ilalagay? Where's the hosting, no? Again, third party ba yan? Now, kung yung mga pinakita namin in the past, like WordPress, Odoo, they host that. So you don't have to create another separate server. I suppose kila Doc Iken, no? Museo Cordillera is hosted in AWS or on-premise. So you can define it here. And then what support do you need in the future, right? What are out of scope? Okay, that you're considering not now, maybe in succeeding phases. And then you put here who authored it, anong date, and again, it's a living document. Every revisions, you just plug it here. Okay. Next, you hold, after you've written the project specifications, you hold a meeting with the team members, no? Whether tatlo yan, lima, everybody's involved, who will they have to understand the project specs. And usually there are three C's that's being discussed. Clarifications regarding clarificatory questions about the PSF, and then kaya ba to ng budget natin? O tanggalin muna natin to. Feeling mo estimate niya it's gonna be big, no? Naglagay ako ng feature pero wala namang content. So let's remove that. Pero pag may content ako, wala do sa specs, wala do sa feature list, then dadagdag natin yung feature na yon. Now, after that, the project manager, again, I don't know if it's a separate person or the same person, can now generate the project timeline. Usually, these two boxes, you need a consultant. Either someone you know lang on development who can actually give you an assessment, or someone who will develop that. Or if there's someone in the team, yun na yung gumawa ng project timeline. And again, this is determined, even the PSF, if you're gonna use which type of platform, no? For website, I've talked about WordPress, Odoo. Titingnan nyo ngayon kung ano ba siya? Baka iniisip ko 2 months pero kaya pala ng 5 days. Exaggeration, no? Per possible, right? Because depending on the platform that you choose, no? And I put here a sample Gantt chart for the timeline. You can use Excel. You don't have to buy proprietary project management tool. So you just use Excel. You can make it colorful like this. Okay. Then next, this is important. For us as Rasi is important. Who's responsible for every task? Who's accountable? Who's consulted? Who's informed? So the Rasi chart. And it is per task. Though again, I'm gonna send this as one of the templates to you guys. So maybe you, after defining the objectives na, di ba, we proceed to this. Now, okay, my advice, do not make the person assign, in general, not the group. It has to be a specific person. Like example, IT team, marami sila. So nawala yung accountability. It has to be specific. It has to be that person who's responsible, who's accountable, and who's consulted. And the rest of the team will be informed, right? Okay. Now that we have the project specification, I explained this last 2 weeks ago about the UX, no, the user experience flow. Simply put, it's a flow chart of a person's experience. Like when I enter, I start with user entered login and password. Yeah. And then what happened? Receives in confirmation via email. Then after that, they will when they go back to the homepage, they can view gallery, view explore, view tour. Tapos what happens? It's the flow, step by step. Okay. And it is part of the design, product design in the workflow. So it has to be defined bago tayo pumunta sa visually nice or the creative part, no? And these are the tools that we usually use in the office. Lucidchart, OmniGraphol. Before it's my MS Visio, there's Adobe XD. Okay. And part of the product design, aside from the UX flowchart, you also have the wireframes. Okay. I also gave you some tips on how to develop the wireframes last 2 weeks ago, no? Yung wireframes, para siyang ganyan. Talagang it's a blueprint of the site, of the app. It's the skeletal framework. Okay. So that you can actually guide the creatives. For us in our team, no, that's two separate discipline. Ramil can attest to that. Iba yung UI, user interface designs, or the graphics artist, iba yung nag-UX. UX is understanding the user. So he or she should be able to draw it, and then sasabihin niya, eto could be carousel, eto pwedeng radio button, eto pwedeng drop down, or let's handle the content here, let's put a break here, or the footer. Yeah. And also in the UX stage, the sitemap is being developed. Okay. All the tools that we mentioned here have free use. Don't worry about it. I always consider free. Sana nga perpetually free. Okay. Next, is it approved? If it's already approved, now we go to the we go to the adding the beauty, no? From wireframes, we make it as a user interface screen. So this is a sample. This is an actual project that we have, where we use Adobe XD here. So this time, kailangan na namin si graphic artist to apply all the, based on the branding guidelines, based on the font the partner would want to use, no? Um, what else? Yeah, all about visuals to. Okay. And then once it's approved, that's the time we can start the development. So please be sure you're ready before the development, especially if you're paying a consultant, because it's gonna delay the project, and they might charge you in between because you ask them to start and then you're gonna change in the middle. So that's they call it change request kasi yan eh. Sa amin, we call it also scope creep eh. Nagpalit, palit, palit, no? So it has to be established first before you kick off the development. Okay, execute programming coding. Again, depending if you need a consultant to do that, or use the web tools available out there. Basta mura lang, affordable for you guys. Okay, then the first part should be done is a content management system. So you can start uploading the content. Because what they're doing are just the layout and all the containers there, but the content remains on the well, if it's within the company, a separate person is in charge of uploading the content. And then we have to fix, they have to debug. That's our terminology, fixing, debugging. And then is it already acceptable based on the original project specifications? And is it based on the wireframes, based on the UI? Those are the acceptance points of acceptance and approve for release. Okay. Now you can go live. Okay. There's a question. Can the development begins while collecting the content? Yes. Again, if it's just the content, yes. But development should not start without your approved designs and approved user experience. Okay. And then you may opt to launch with a minimum viable product. Okay. This is our suggestion because if it takes a lot of time, like a 6-month project or more, baka malaki na yung baka it's too late, no? It's too late for you guys to launch if it's 6 months or more. I suggest if you want to have digital presence, do it fast, but do it with a minimum viable product, MVP. Okay, after going live, you don't stop your the work doesn't stop there. You have to measure, you have to manage the content, and there's always continuous improvement. Okay, so for our next step, I'll be sending a copy of the project specifications form, a copy of a project Gantt chart, a RASI chart, and links to the tools, no? And I'll give you the pegs also here and abroad. This was also asked for me through the email. Um, you can adjust the templates as you wish. So it's up to you, but make sure you have this discipline, the project methodology discipline. All right. So I've covered the question of Pasig and Parish. How do we start? So you have something to start with. That's a lot of writing and a lot of work. Okay. And then there's a question, interactions in social media. Okay, I think this was covered a week ago by Christina and Joe. So Aquino Museum, Negros Museum, but let me add lang a few slides regarding this. It's 11:20. Aside from that, you can also check out social media monitoring tools. This is for free. Social mention is free. It actually measure what people are saying about your particular museum or brand in Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and blogs. But it's more of social listening siya. Yung analytics remains within the platform ng Facebook or ng Twitter, Instagram. Okay, TweetDeck you can also find out and measure what people are saying about your brand in Twitter. Again, this is free. Now I'll go to some subscription type of services for social media monitoring. Hootsuite is $19 per month. What does it do? it actually aggregates all your social media accounts in one dashboard. You can respond, you can actually, you don't have to go to each platform. You just see it in one dashboard. Wow, that's super, di ba? In terms of efficiency. There's also a counterpart, Zoho Social. It's $10 per month. Okay, so please explore. I'm sure they have free 30-day trial. Okay. Okay, then there's also an email to me like please help us improve the site. Okay, when I always hear the word improve, I always check first the actual performance of the site. And UP Center of Etmo, I'll be sending the UX edit within the day through directly to you. But I won't dwell on it today at this point. But is it okay if I check your performance? Okay. For me, speed matters. Mobile users are much more likely to leave. It takes more than 3 seconds. Page speed is an indicator of other issues with the site. So if the page is loading so slow, you have to check hosting provider, the files inside, the website element if it's too heavy, the image if they are not optimized. So if you don't mind, I will check your web performance. Is it okay to check your para live talaga, na live talaga checking. Hold on. I'm getting permission. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sol. Okay. All right. So where do you go to check your page insights? No, you go to where is it? Oops. Nawala yung page. Hold on, ah. Oh, there. You go to developers.google.com/speed/page speed/insight. Okay. This is how we check the site. Okay. I'm here. So I'm going to enter the URL of UP Etnom. Right. I'll go back to the original UI. Okay. So then you run analyze. Now tells you the performance of your site. But again, the UX and UI audit, UP Etnom, I'm gonna send it to you personally. Um, but offhand, we're looking at your platform. It's time also to revamp. Maybe you can ask your in-house WordPress developer. I've seen in your profile you have one, because the design now, your design is still 2012, but you can use the 2020 design now na flat, no, flat design, etc. There are good stuff out there for WordPress. Okay, what does it mean? I'm not gonna go through all of this. If you go here, you can now see that your rate is at 24 in terms of performance. What does it mean? Um, it will be explained that yeah, sorry, it's a bit poor, but it doesn't mean don't feel bad. There's room for improvement. You just have to go through the different matrices, no, that you see here. You run it with your WordPress developer, like, oh, we have to reduce the time, the response time. How do we do that? There are suggestions. Oh, we have to reduce the resources that's being used, no, we have to reduce the CSS, the script. The images are too heavy, let's have to resize it. So please go through this page, and then there's some equivalent um, what do you call that, the explanation. And here, these are good practices that must be considered, like what is a good loading page. No, over 300 milliseconds is poor, over 300 milliseconds is a bit good. Ano, poor pa rin pala to, sorry. So this is an acceptable rate, needs improvement, and poor. So please go through this page. I'm gonna send it in the deck. Okay, so I'll go back to my deck again. Okay. I'll be answering the question in a while, yeah. Okay. And then there's a question on speed. Okay. And then there's a question to me about database archiving. Okay. By the way, we're not a partner of Matterport. No? Earlier, Ramil's like promoting it. No, we're just looking for the best technology out there and share it with you. But in terms of data archiving, yes, we are a partner of Amazon for Amazon Web Services. If you want to archive your database, your collections, we recommend you check Amazon S3 Glacier. It's not expensive. Again, my objective is to give you affordable tools but efficient. No? There's a case study here that they did for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They preserved the collections, the artifacts of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And they actually use Amazon S3 for storage. Why do I recommend? Because also the cost. It's if you're gonna store first 50 terabyte for access for data that you don't usually access, there's about 0.023 cents per gig. So there are I can talk to you about it, how to compute for that. It says we can do a separate email on this, but this is very cost efficient. We just have to calculate it and define whether how frequent do you need to pull out the data. Is it frequent, or you don't actually retrieve it for X number of months? Because it depends on the access of pool. So this is again software as a service or hardware as a service that we can use. Okay. Then I will proceed. Need help on actual designing for Las Castilla Museum, MMSU, LRK Music, and University of Archives and Museums. Is it okay if I ask for the initial designs be emailed again to solutions@gmanmi.com, and we'll be gladly to check it together with Ramil's team. We'll look at your designs now, what to comment on it, how you so that you can improve on some aspects. Okay. There are two museums who want to organize a webinar. Good thing. That's our topic next week for 15 minutes. On next Friday, we'll have how to set it up. So it's gonna be detailed like how Ramil did it. Okay, and more on setup and executions for the website. I'm gonna talk about it like next week. That covers the SEO hygiene measurements, and allow me to go through the list of museums who gave me their website requirements, like highlight the artwork collection, um, how to have fun and interactive options within the site, free and inexpensive. Let's do that next week. Highlight the cultural heritage, education, the origin of the province. How can I display the achievement on the site? We'll give you a peg. How to show a timeline and development. This is interesting. It's not just a flat information that this is our history, this is our achievement. Link to university website. It should not be a problem. It could be another another tab within the site if the main university would allow you, because take note, your visitors will be the students. That's a good strategy to have it folded under the main university site. Okay. Search by topic and ease in navigation. Yeah, it all boils down on the tags and how you upload it in the content management system. So it is searchable, and also on the front end, effectiveness of to be able to search by topic, by a word, or by section. So we'll discuss it further. You can also have a digital career caravan if that's what you have in mind. Post all your job openings on site. Yes, that's possible. We'll also tackle a bit on audience reach and measurement. I hope I can cover everything next Friday. So that's it. Thank you so much, guys. Doc Kikin, is there any question from the team, from the audience?
Okay. Thank you so much, Evert, for that very insightful comments and presentation for our participants. Okay. May I ask if there are other questions from our participants? Okay. Comments from our participants? No more na. Okay. So I think that's about it. Thank you so much, Ramil and Evert, for spending your morning with us and sharing your expertise on this ones. Okay. So can I just show our website? Actually, I'm running a test, Evert, for our speed test. May results na, pero I don't know how to interpret it. Anyway.
We can talk about it, Doc Kikin, separately.
Yeah, so this is our website. We actually had the virtual exhibition here for our participants to see. So medyo, well, we are mid museum, no? Parang in the middle range, not too big, not too small, but we already explored this one. So in terms of this layout, you can see here that our visible storage does not have the, how do you call that, Ramil? I forget. The information about this artifact. So we kept this, although you can see the location of the visible storage in our exhibition, we do not show the, nakikita pala. Yan lang. Parang ganyan lang yung itsura ng visible storage. Can you actually see inside? So, kung saan ako pumupunta. Anyway, so we're still, in developing the website, we're still learning the ropes, how to use it, how to manage the website. No, so I hope that all the suggestions from Ramil and Evert, we can actually follow them. Well, Ramil, our museum has very long text. And we receive feedback that it's also informative. But I like the idea to have a bite-sized information, no, for some of the captions that we have. Okay, so that's about it. So for those who missed the webinars for the last 2 weeks, these are now available in the museum website. Nandito na siya. So you can actually listen again if you want to wait. If you want to listen to the webinars from Evert's team. So nandito na yata. Okay, so all the lectures are already here. With permission, of course. No, video is unavailable. So I don't know what happened. Anyway.
The site is so nice, Doc Kikin.
Thank you so much. Yeah, but still,
even the virtual tour is very comprehensive, no?
Yeah. But we go against the rule, no, yung brevity of captions. I think people would need more information about it. So we receive good feedback about lengthy captions, which are useful for students, no, studying online or at home lang, or even some scholars are researching on textile. So they find the lengthy caption. So depende talaga sa museum kung ano yung preference nila about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Doc Kikin, is that an insight from the one who visited your site?
Yes,
Okay.
we received some comments already from the viewers, no. So there's a section there where you can actually send your comments,
Mm-hmm.
and even an interactive platform for our artifacts. So meron ng discuss. I think I asked the developer to include discuss here. So
Discuss.
this
Okay.
is already in place. So there's also an engagement from the audience or people, going to the site, to engage themselves. So we have received some comments from them, initial. So we're actually improving our site hanggang ngayon. And like this museum shop, we're currently improving.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi may mga tinda-tinda ang museum, so you can see there are also changes in the categories. Kasi I think we have an audience ng mga titas of Manila. So most of the visited site is actually the museum shop.
Yeah.
So they still are being improved at the moment. So it's our staff who's doing it now.
Yeah. Doc Kikin, I really and the one key lang na nakikita ko, you guys are very responsive to the comments. So you listen to them, and it's very important. Any adjustment or development on the site, this may be influenced by the feedback, and we listen to the customers, we
Yes.
listen to the visitors. Yeah, and it's a good discipline po. Yeah.
Yeah, so we already trained the staff, 5 of them, who have access to the portal where they can make improvements. So
Mm-hmm.
every time we receive the comment, we revise that immediately. Even the book orders, like we are having some difficulty also in our, yung bibili ka.
Mm-hmm.
So meron ding mga paraan how you can actually work on that. So we're learning the ropes, and we're seeing the results then, yung mga feedback na binibigay sa amin.
Yes.
All right.
Congratulations again, Doc Ikin.
Thank
And
you
we hope
so much.
and we hope the rest of the museums who are here, especially who reach out to us, will be seeing your site soon, or you'll be active in the digital space. And Ramil and I are just around to provide you any help that you need.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
goal
thank you.
of the MK Shed for level 3 is to really come up with their own website, no matter how simple or complicated. Pwede namang Facebook or any social media platform, as long as we can see their digital presence in the internet, no. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Ramil and Evert. We hope that you can also do a feedback form for us, so we can improve our presentation for various topics. So the last session for Evert's team will be on Friday. That's August 13. And then this will be followed by part 3 on conservation of artifacts with Peter Natividad and Rod Enano. And the last session will be on how to put your exhibit design, no? So by Joan Medrano on September 17. So we hope that you join us again next Friday, and thank you very much to our speakers, and have a good day. Bye.